The tragic death of the great Canadian maestro Boris Brott has not only hit Hamilton hard, but has hit the music industry around the country. Lou Molinaro, owner of the legendary music venue This Ain't Hollywood, joins us now to talk about the, well, as you put it, Lou, the iconic maestro. And thanks so much for joining us. We're all still in shock. We had so many visits from Lou, and of course, you had connected with him so many times over the years, and I know you're in shock this morning, so my condolences.
Thank you. I couldn't believe when I heard the news. It just shocked me. It really did. Like I was in a fog all yesterday. I felt it was just such a surreal situation.
I want to share a picture and want to get your thoughts of it, because I think it really exemplifies Boris Brott.
Sure.
With a concert smack dab in the middle of DeFasco.
That's Boris Brott in a nutshell. Thinking outside the box, he was an inventor of just creating an environment and an excitement. And that's one thing that I really respected about Boris Brott as a professional, is like he was so important to music, but he was so important to the infrastructure of music as well. Boris Brott basically led the way of just, you know, creating all these different ideas, and he was so genuine and he was so courageous and confident that it was infectious. It was just something that, like, people like myself, even though I'm really known for a lot of my love for rock and roll, but he opened so many doors for my love for classical music, just because of the way he presented his shows and his inclusion of people in his orchestra, the demographic change, the cultural inclusion. It was fantastic. He was one of a kind.
And conversely, he loved rock and roll. His Genes and Classics series was incredible, covering Queen and many other acts with the orchestra.
Yeah, so one of the things that really stands out with regards to a lot of his summer festival shows was the one he did with Genes and Classic with Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
Well, with the musical Led Zeppelin, it was fantastic. Right. And that just is an example, again, of how Boris really connected the dots.
And he had that common touch.
Absolutely. I kept in contact with Boris a lot via email. A lot of the times, you know how sometimes you just need validation of things that you love a lot. You'll love a little more if someone like Boris Brott validates a love for music. And there's many times I would be sending Boris songs that had these beautiful string arrangements of rock and roll music.
To get his approval.
To get his approval. And one thing that a lot of people may not know was Boris was a fan of Frank Zappa's music for the orchestral arrangements. And that was something that I really loved talking with Boris about.
Now, there's a poster that hung at This Ain't Hollywood. And I remember, like many, remember going on school trips to see Boris Brott. I was in grade 8. That's the first time I heard of Boris Brott, when he first landed right there in Hamilton from Montreal via New York City. And he was a rock star. And that's how they marketed him for the Hamilton Philharmonic.
Yeah, well, when I moved to Hamilton in 1996, I knew of Boris Brott. And one of the things that I was really excited about was the opportunity of potentially meeting him. And one of his personal assistants at the time, Heather Mueller, opened up that opportunity to have me meet Boris Brott. But Steve Mann from Teenage Head came into the bar one time, and he brought over this poster, and he was clearing out his mom's place. And inside his sister's closet was this Boris Brott Music Power poster. And he said, do you guys want this? And Glenn and I both decided that this would be such a beautiful piece of art to hang on our walls, because it was not so much just a contrast because us being a rock and roll venue, but it was just the fact that to us, Boris Brott was a rock star. Yeah. And the trifecta of having a lawyer who took the picture, Herman Turkstra, Steve Mann from Teenage Head, having this in his sister's closet, and then Boris Brott. It could only happen in Hamilton.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's a keeper right there.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, his legacy.
Very important. I think a lot of people will remember Boris Brott as a musical genius, but I was thinking about this morning. One of the things that really stands out to me about Boris was every time he took the mic and he was given accolades about his work, he always thanked his wife, Ardith. He loved his wife, and that was just a beautiful thing about him as a person. And that's one thing that I will always remember Boris Brott as a person, as well as all his musical involvements.
He is so missed. And again, our condolences. Lou Molinaro, thanks for spending some time with us this morning.
Thank you for including me today.
Absolutely. And we'll have a lot more on his Boris Brott's legacy.